Yeah, like a big apologies if I say tattoo. That's definitely the Essex in me. I drop a lot of my T's. Hello everyone, it's Tom the taxi driver. Welcome back to my channel where we navigate London and life. Today, I want to speak about something I have never really shared with anyone before. And that is all these cool funky drawings on my arms. Some of you have kind of asked like, oh, where did you get them done? What do they mean? And stuff like that. And at first I was kind of confused because, you know, I just make these videos, I put videos out of me driving the cab and then people comment on it. And it's so odd because, you know, there's so much of a part of me really. And anyone who's got tattoos will know that that's, you know, they just become part of you. But I suppose to a stranger, someone who's not seen your tattoos before, maybe they haven't got any themselves, they don't necessarily know of that experience. So I'm going to cover quite a bit about tattoos and my tattoos specifically. Be sure to stay to the very end because I will be breaking down a lot of in-depth meaning and what these all kind of mean to me and why I got them. First off, how old was I when I got my first tattoo? I was 18 years old. It's the legal age in the UK. There used to be a myth, I don't know if it's still present, whereby if you're under the age of 18, a parent can take you to go get a tattoo done, and so long as the parent gives it guidance, you can then get a tattoo done. No, you have to be of age 18. So I happily waited till then, and not long after my 18th birthday, I got my very first tattoo. I'd always kind of been intrigued by the idea of tattoos. Like my dad's kind of got some of the old school sort of stuff you get done in the 70s, kind of that old school style, just simple black sort of colours and things, and just in non-discriminate places really, nothing too major. And then growing up I had a lot of, you know, metal and rock bands were kind of my big influence. I love that genre of music even still to this day. So to see kind of like your heroes, your idols all adorning this kind of different look with tattoos and things, I thought that is so cool. I'm gonna have to get that done. And I really fell in love with the aesthetic of having sleeves, you know, full sleeves like I've got now, almost. How many tattoos do I have? I've just got both my arms, just both sleeves done, and I probably will work on other parts of my body at some point. It's just getting around to time and money, really. How did I find my inspiration? This kind of changes and evolves a lot over time. My very first arm, which I done on this side, I got a lot of my inspiration with a guy that I used to work with. Big shout to Mr. Studley Ramrod. He had like a full Japanese bodysuit, so he got the, you know, the arms, the legs, and traditional Japanese should stop kind of like 3/4 length on the arms. But I was able to ask him a little bit about them and go, what's this, what's that? And I kind of grew to really like that style, even though what I've got is definitely not like a traditional Japanese by any stretch of the imagination. I was able to kind of grab little bits and pieces of inspiration from him and gave me a first kind of basis in the world of tattoos, because I didn't know what I was asking for. You know, you go back to sort of Google, YouTube and things like that, it was really quite in its infancy. This was probably about 11 years ago when I first got my first tattoos and things done. So it really was just asking people, going to tattoo shops, seeing what people had on them and just thinking, right, I like that, I'll borrow a bit of that, you know. Did they hurt? Do they hurt? Now, I'd kind of be lying if I said that they don't hurt, but it's quite like a bearable pain. So, for instance, I've never really understood how people get piercings done. I mean, I used to have like, you can see that I had a little lip piercing once because I was a cool kid back in the day. Because I got my ears pierced, but that's about it. Because I could never get over like that kind of instant pain that you get from piercings. It just sucks. Like, you know, I kind of say it's like akin to kind of like being punched in the face. It just sucks at one point. Whereas tattoos are kind of that like long kind of enduring pain. Like my bicep was the very first area I got done because I thought, well, that's nice and big and fleshy. It's easy to cover up, but also it's not going to be too painful there. You know, it's not like getting my ribs done or getting a really pinchy sort of fold of skin. I find the worst pain with tattoos is not like the direct needle going in, is that when you're there for a long session, that, you know, 3 hours, 4 hours, however long it may be, is that your skin is already trying to heal and then you're sort of going back over that. Like initially, when the needle first comes out and starts going in your arm and that, the initial pain I think is kind of like when people kind of just finally pull the hairs on your skin, just kind of like that. So it's not really a lot of pain like initially. But then as it goes on, it's kind of a bit like a sunburn. Do my tattoos have meanings? Yeah, like this arm definitely has more meanings, but when I got this one done, I was just like, nah man, that looks cool. Like, I just want that. And don't be afraid of, like, people will say like, oh yeah, your tattoo's got to have a meaning. We all make our own meaning out of anything we do. You know, much like when we do our jobs, our professions, when we wear a certain piece of clothing, when we listen to a certain piece of music, we create our own narrative, our own story to stuff. I found that since having these tattoos, I've kind of created my own meanings for them. But when I got them, you know, I couldn't tell you why I got a dragon as my first tattoo. Like, I would love to have some kind of cool story of like, yes man, the dragon is like my spirit animal and I feel one with the dragon. Nah, like, it's just, it was cool, so I just got it done, right? And you know, the same goes for tattoos and things. You eventually will create your own meaning because they become a part of you. You kind of have to live with them. That's just the way that it goes. Do I ever regret my tattoos? I don't regret, but I think with anything you ever do in life, there's always like the other path, like the road not taken, I think is like the terminology. Let's say, you know, you have two options in life. One is to go to university, one is to move to the States and start a new life there. You'll never really know how your life would have ever panned out. And the same goes with these, really. Because I've kind of just got used to them and this is just my skin, right, is that the idea of not having them would be super, super weird. The guy who's done all of my tattoos, everything you see here from day dot, is called Sim. It's from Cosmic Tattoo in Colchester. I'll be putting his Instagram in the link down below so you can check out some of his other work. And then from there, you know, you can see his style, maybe look at other artists, whatever. That's one of the cool things with tattoos, is that kind of pick a style that, you know, your artist does. You know, pick an artist based upon your style. I really wish I knew that once I got my first ones done, but alas, you know, I'm very glad that I've been able to come back to my, you know, the guy who done my previous tattoos and kind of jump onto his style that he now does, which I, you know, absolutely love. Chronologically, my very first tattoo was this badass dragon. I got it black and grey because I was thinking about having little pops of colour in the sleeve later on. Then I can't remember where I went with this. I really prefer the stuff on the inside, actually, because you don't get to see it as much. This entire sleeve I finished probably about 9 years ago. So you can see the stuff on the inside where it's not really been attacked by the sun has really retained a lot of colour. You know, these cherry blossoms and things, they're still quite a really vibrant pink. Whereas you look at them on the outside where I've had a lot of sun, yeah, obviously that's just killed all that pink there. If you enjoy the sun, don't get tattoos. Then everyone, I've got a peony at the top there, another peony. I just wanted something just to kind of cap the shoulder, just to kind of make the shoulder stand out that little bit more. And you got that. This is a traditional Japanese part where to fill out this bit, if you just left this without that, it would look weird. So you put a little dot there in there. Didn't realise it, but one of the inks in here, I think it's in this part here, is actually UV reactive. If I go under a UV light, these actually pop up. I'm gonna go for this arm, and I'm gonna go for just something slightly different. I didn't know if it was gonna be a full sleeve, but the one piece I really wanted to get done that really started me off is my fox. I've got a little fox on the inside of my arm, and he's actually got like a little bit of a street scene going on. So there's a moon there, there's some tower blocks there. And what that was that when I was studying the knowledge, I used to love it when I was out really late at night or really early in the morning, and I'd be scavenging around. I'd be on my bike or in my car, and I'd have my knowledge maps, all the roads and things I'd had to go cover in that period. You would go down like a random estate somewhere, and you'd see like foxes kind of scavenging around picking up stuff. And I liked the kind of identity that I had with the foxes, because I'd look at the fox, and sometimes you know when you see a fox in the wild and they just stop and they just stare at you like, what are you looking at, mate? And we're kind of here for the same thing. I'm scavenging around looking for points. He's scavenging around looking for food. On this side, I've got like this skull lady. I just kind of like the aesthetic of like the face. And the level of detail that's actually in this is just insane. Like, you know, when you look at the nose and structures like that. So it's just kind of like elements of being alive, but like with like the skull kind of put in it. Then you've got like, you know, a lot more black coming up here. Elbow, quite gnarly, that kind of sucked. This inner crease of my elbow sucked a lot more than this one. I remember that not being that bad, but for some reason this really, really sucked. As we go up my arm, this is where it gets super cool and gnarly. A skull, again, that whole kind of idea, memento mori, whatever, like the fact that life is short, that we're all just gonna be a skull in the ground, you know. These kind of little bit here, so like the skull's kind of in the dirt. Above it is a TV with like the Anarchy logo on it. I think someone said, is that the Avengers logo? I'm like, have you never seen this? It's Anarchy. And the idea behind this is that it's almost kind of like traditional media. Like, I try not to watch too much TV. So this is kind of me saying, like, you know, screw TV, don't need to watch that. And then that just leads me to the glaringly obvious. I've got this big old gap here, which I have got booked in. I've got a little bit of an idea of what's going to go in there, but we'll leave that for a future video, shall we? So that's it. I hope this has kind of given you some insight. I would love to know what kind of tattoos and things that you guys have. Do drop that down in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this little behind the scenes, if you will, of getting to know me as a creator and my life outside of driving the taxi, you might want to consider subscribing to my weekly newsletter. It's an entirely free Sunday summary which I release every single week, and it just gives you a bit of an insight of what I'm up to behind the scenes. And the awesome thing with joining that email newsletter is that whenever I have anything new or exclusive coming out, you guys are the first people to know about it. Way before I put it on the YouTube channel, I'll often discuss what I'm sort of working on months ahead before it actually gets published here on YouTube. The other really cool thing with that as well is that it's an open email. If there's anything in there that you really like the sound of, or you have some expertise behind, just drop me an email, reply to that email, and it's one of the best things I love about being a creator and having all you guys to engage with is your emails, your thoughts and perspectives, because that informs my life and changes my perspective on things. Thank you once again for watching this video. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.